everybody? I'm Demond Reynolds here on Chopping It Up at Stumps. And today we're going to do things a little bit differently. I have a special guest for you today, Ron Liguette. How you doing today, brother?
What's happening, Captain? How you doing? It's all good?
See you. Yes, sir.
Richmond, VA, baby.
I see you got the hat on the man. Is that something specific that we need to know?
Yeah, this is what I do, man. They call me the man. I connect anything and all things. Positivity, though, all good things come to those who wait, but I make it happen sooner rather than later.
Well, so listen, that's interesting, because we had a little bit of a conversation before we got on. Tell the people your story and how you got into what you're doing with the community.
Yeah, so what I do, man, is I work for the federal government, you know, my 9 to 5, that's my second retirement. But what I wanted to do is basically give back from the experiences that I've had over the years, from playing sports, getting drafted into the NBA, working local, state, federal government.
Rewind that back a little
bit.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, man, that's right, man. If you don't know, you better ask somebody, man. I went to West Virginia State. We averaged over 101 points a game. My man, Big Ron, he went to the Knicks in the second round, and then I went to the Golden State Warriors back in '87. So we played some ball, did some things, had some experiences, and now what I wanted to be able to do is not only share those experiences with people who basically know me, see me, but now show them a different side of me, which is now basically providing positive messages to those out there in the world. So now I got a special podcast that I'll be doing and stuff like that that's dealing with just positive things. In fact, today is Winning Wednesdays! And then after that, you know, I also do something that's called Dumb Sports Edition with your host, Ron Liguette. So we talk about those things.
What was that thing that said, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to help people with my experience?
Well, just through all the things that I've done, man. Starting out in Parks and Recreation as a rec aide after basketball and stuff like that, and seeing the issues with the kids' experiences growing up in the inner city, I knew there was a need for positive motivation, because what I saw in them, and I saw in myself as well growing up. A lot of people say you can't, and all of a sudden I said, oh, yes, I can. And as a result, inner city kid, 5'10 and a half, now I get drafted into the NBA. So now what I want to do is encourage all those kids, young, old, and indifferent, because we all need positive motivation in order to get to where we're going. And a lot of times, all it takes is just a little pat on the back, a little word of encouragement, and that's what I try to bring to the table.
Well, so as the audience knows, I do positive weekly messages.
Good man.
So we're trying to frame this in, if you will, to how I'm kind of having you here today, and we're having this conversation. So as I go on, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is fear. That was going to be my message.
Okay.
What was the moment for you where you said, okay, I have to overcome fear to get into what my purpose is? So your purpose was going in and being in the NBA and helping. How did you get through that?
Well, I don't know about you, man, but if you was an athlete, fear is something that you live with, because it's something that is inside of you that basically helps propel your intestinal fortitude, so to speak, to keep pushing forward. And it started out real early, and I just said to myself, you know what? I'll show you. I'll get it done one way or another. So the naysayers as well as the fear, no, that's somebody else's problem, not mine.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. That's something that I think a lot of people need to hear about.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many times when we talk about people's journeys, but we don't know the story of what it took for them to get there. So you have the NBA story, and now you're also here in Richmond. You talked about that community development.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to hear more specifically about what it is that you're attacking, some of the things and conversations that you're having with people on a daily basis.
Absolutely, and I'll talk about that, man, because a lot of times, like I said, people just don't know what true things that they have inside of them, and they have a goal and aspirations, but a lot of times they're not pursuing it. And what they would do is they'll pursue someone else's goal, help someone else push their goals. But what is happening, just as I stated on my Winning Wednesdays, is that you can't push someone else's goals, because what happens is your goals begin to die on the shelf. And then you look back several years later and you realize you didn't get things done to help motivate you do what you do, but also inspire others as well.
Because within the community, we see a lot of people attending church, but not enough people getting fed outside the church. And so for me, I think the biggest gap that I'm trying to bridge is to have people be able to see somebody on television, a black man on television, who has a different message from a biblical perspective. So that's why I'm in school doing theology. I'm in divinity school. I'm learning. I'm studying to show myself approved.
But and still, man, to see young guys like yourself, man, that is pursuing goals, and in addition to pursuing those goals, you're trying to help others achieve their goals.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, if we have more of that going on into the inner cities and the communities, we'll transform it overnight.
Well, man, I got to ask this question. As a former NBA guy. I know you're paying attention.
Yes, sir.
Lakers or Clippers?
I'm going with the Lakers. Hands down. LeBron is my man. If he's going with the Lakers, if he's with Miami, if he's in Cleveland, and if he goes somewhere next year, I'm going with LeBron. Because as a man, as a player, and as a father, and as a guy that's giving back in the community, man, you can't beat. I don't see how you can go against my man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ron Liguette. Hey, plug your name for everybody and let them know who you are.
This is Ron Liguette coming at you live and exact. Stay strong, stay focused, but more importantly, stay